We are going to talk about finding your transverse abdominis, so your TAs, that's how I'll refer to them. So it's a little bit easier than saying transverse abdominis every time. So your TAs, your transverse abdominis, is the deepest layer of your abdomen. Those are the deepest abdominal muscles. They wrap actually all the way around to our low back. They kind of act like a corset for your spine. So when I talk to people, maybe they've had back surgery or something like that and are wearing a corset, or some people just think that that's what they need to do if they have back pain, is put a corset on. And I tell them, our goal is to get you out of this corset. You shouldn't need to wear that. We don't want you to wear that. We need to train your muscles to stabilize your spine. So the TA is that deepest layer, and that's what it does. It acts as that corset that gives you that stability all around your trunk and your core. When we want to isolate this muscle, I like to instruct people to find it so you find your hip bone here. You're going to place your fingertips just inside your hip bones. This is your ASIS. You're going to go just inside that. This is where that muscle sits deep here, okay? So then in this position, I want you to just try to lift your pelvic floor, okay? When I just try to lift my pelvic floor, visualize you are trying to stop the flow of urine and hold in gas at the same time. That's going to get both the front and back of the pelvic floor. When you just do that, I feel some tension underneath my fingertips. So your pelvic floor and your TAs work together. So they are anticipatory muscles. They actually fire before you're doing something, such as maybe reaching for something. These muscles should fire to stabilize our core and our spine. And they work together. So when I just lift my pelvic floor, I feel some tension underneath my fingertips. So that's your transverse abdominis there. Sometimes people have a really hard time feeling their pelvic floor. So another thing you can do is act like you're fogging a glass. So when I go like that, again, I feel that same tension underneath my fingertips there. So that's another cue you can try. It's good to use that breath if you're having a hard time. So during a core exercise, if you're like, I'm not really sure if I'm engaging my TAs, try that fogging the breath exhale, and that can help you a little bit. Then what happens is if you lift your pelvic floor and also try to brace your entire abdomen, you should feel those fingers kind of pop out and move away. So if I'm thinking of lifting my pelvic floor, but also drawing my hip bones together to tighten my lower abs, then I feel a lot more, and that my fingers almost move up in a way a little bit. That is those internal obliques sit over top of the transverse abdominis, so your internal obliques, and then when you get everything else on board, that's when you feel more tension there, okay? So if you're just isolating the TAs, think of just lifting the pelvic floor so it's real gentle, and then when I do more, and I'm kind of engaging my entire abdomen, I feel everything kind of brace and tighten throughout my entire core. So play around with finding your TAs. Another way to describe it is think of your abdomen as a clock. So you've got 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6, 9. Think about trying to pull or trying to tighten the area between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, okay? So you're really trying to pull your hip bones together. You can also imagine you have a string tied between your hip bones and you're trying to pull that string tight. Okay, that can help you engage just that lower part of your abdomen. What I don't want to see is you, when trying to engage your TAs, is sucking your belly button in. So navel to spine, a lot of times people will suck in and tuck under, and that actually squashes your whole core system, and we don't want to do that. So try to just draw in that lower belly, lift the pelvic floor to get those TAs on board, and try that fogging the glass technique if you're having trouble finding them.